You're a very, very good side this season, and I can't see you out of the top three, and I could see you challenging for first place. When you played us here and you beat us, you were the best team that we played. You know, we played teams, we did really well, but Arsenal, we just put hands up. Fair enough, you know, we got done.
I want to ask you how you've managed to cope so well without your top scorer, without, you know, essentially your star man, Ivan Toney.
One other player I want to talk about though, David Raya.
Who do you think is the better keeper, Raya or Ramsdale? How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Box to Box. As you can see, we're here, Brentford, New Griffin Park, or to the newbies, G-Tech Stadium, and I'm with one of the GOATs of Box to Box, and that's what you are now, Billy, because every time you're on Box to Box, I go into the comment section, you're one of the favourites, if not the favourite, since Box to Box's inception about 3 years ago. So lovely to have you on again. First and foremost, how you been?
Listen, I've been very good, Turkish, and thank you for inviting me on again onto the channel. To be quite honest with you, the reason why I'm happy, because I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? As a Brentford fan, we're still here. Like I said to you, all the Arsenal fans as well. Respect to you as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been a good season for you. It's been a good season for us as well. And let's just see how it goes from here.
Yeah, and you say you're still here, but that's a given. I mean, you're one of the examples for clubs coming up from the Championship, the way you've come into the Premier League and sustained, and now you're pretty much part of the furniture in the Premier League, in my opinion.
And again, yes, we are at the moment, but we never take anything for granted.
Yeah.
And like I said to you, and I keep going on about this, having supported the club for so many years, you got to take every year, every season as it comes, every game as it comes, almost, like, you know, because we've seen how many teams have taken things for granted, how many fans have taken it for granted, and then you've seen them plummet out. You've seen your Leeds Uniteds go, you've seen your Wolverhampton Wanderers go, you've seen your Sheffield Wednesdays go, you've seen all these teams
Aston
go.
Villa went,
you know what I'm saying? Aston Villa went, you know what I'm saying? And some of them struggle to get back up again, you know what I'm saying? So for us, we ain't taking anything for granted. We're really enjoying it at the moment now. We're upsetting a few people along the way, but that's part of the game as well. We're getting a few tonkings here and there as well, which is part of the game. But listen, you know, we're still enjoying it.
Yeah, you upset us on your first day back in the Premier League. What's the key to it? Or is it Thomas Frank? Is it the structure above him? I mean, why are Brentford a good example to follow for newly promoted clubs?
I mean, Thomas Frank is part of the reason, but the structure is the main thing. It's all about having a plan. I mean, I remember when I come on the first Box to Box, when we sat over there, actually, I remember. Yeah. We sat down there and there's no balls kicked. We had no idea what's going to happen the next day. And I always said to you at the time, I said to you, look, you know, you need to just relax, Arsenal. Like, you know, you're getting all het up, everything like that. But just, you've got a good side, you've got a good manager, you've got good players. You need to kind of think long term and have and your manager and everyone at the club's got to have a bit of a plan. Because if you've got a plan, a long term plan, people shouldn't get upset if things don't go right after 2 days or 3 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's about the long term plan. And the best clubs, the best businesses is when they have a really good plan and they stick with it, even when things go horribly wrong. You tweak it here or there, and that's what Brentford's done. The owner, Matthew Benham, to be fair to him, he's a genius. So he sat down there, and I remember sat down in the pub with him, and he told me what the plan was, 8-9 years ago. And he said, like I said to you, he says, when we get the Premier League, and I was a bit, we just got the Championship, and I'm like, yeah, when? Yeah, okay, right. But he was just like, no, when we get to the Premier League, X, Y, and Z, this is how we're going to do it. You know, unfortunately, the academy's going to have to go. We're going to have to get B team players in because all these big clubs keep on teething up our players from our academy, and we can't afford to keep spending money on that because I need to put money into the club. So he had this plan of exactly how we're going to do it. I'm going to bring the stats in. You know, we're going to have particular type of players coming in. Our staff is going to think like that. This is going to be our ethos, and the plan was all set up, and they tweaked it all the way along. But the nice thing about it, as fans, they also kept us, especially like us at Besotted, like I said to you, pridefwest.london, by the way, check it out. They kept us in tune with what was going on. So it was a learning curve for us from day one and day two. So we were always learning about how the club was evolving, how things work, why they were selling the players that we love, the Andre Grays and the Scott Hogans, why they were selling them. And we were getting we're getting fretty about it. But then they were just explaining to us the system that we've got. We believe in what we're doing, and we believe that we will get better players with the money for less money. So initially we were like, but eventually we kind of got the game. So they've stuck with the plan. They've tweaked it. Yes, they've made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. But the good thing is that they admit the mistakes and they say, we'll learn from the mistakes and we move on. And also the other thing is that, and this is a good thing for, I think, for a lot of businesses. I remember he said to me as well, he goes, You know, he works in a tech business, right? That's his core business, and he's basically transferred a lot of the skills from the tech business to the football club. And he says, in my tech company, I let anybody has got a say, from the person that's just come in as an intern to the most senior PhD person, right? And they all have a say, and we listen to them and we respect them, right? Nice. And then we take all that information, put it into the pot, and then we might make some decisions. And I thought that's actually wicked, you know what I'm saying? Because that wasn't really prevalent in football. You had people coming in saying, we've been in football for years, this is how it's going to go, like, you can't do that. But I think they took that kind of attitude into Brentford, so that you kind of had lots of different views sort of coming in, and then they'd make decisions from it as well. So for me, like I said to you, there's a lot of things from Brentford, but I think that kind of slightly more modern, slightly more open, slightly more kind of collaborative approach. You know, we've had people in our club, like I said to you, who were working at the club, and they just didn't want to do the collaborative thing. They just wanted to do their own thing. But for me, that is what's made us where we are. And Thomas Frank has been a part of that, because he's come in, he's humble. He's a people person, he listens, he loves football, and he just fits right in. And everyone laughed when we got him. You know, like I said, he won one out of his first 10 matches. He lost all the rest of them, and I think he drew one as well. But he pretty much lost all his first 10 games. Brentford went, you know, everyone said you could sack him. Remember, I was going on the radio. I was on the radio. I was going, you got to sack that man. He's rubbish, isn't he? I'm like, nah, man. No, he's doing all the right things. We just haven't got the results. Brentford. You said to Brentford, you're going to sack him? Nah, it's fine. And it was just against the grain, because if it was at Villa, mate, boom, he would have been gone. If it was at Leeds, boom, you're going to be gone. You know what I'm saying? If Man United, see you later. You know, so it's having the plan and sticking with it.
A lot of what you said, I mean, it's very relatable for Arsenal and Arsenal fans over the years, sticking by a manager, not kind of getting swayed by a few losses or poor form. Listen, I know a lot of fans, including myself, at times had enough, but that was probably more so due to the years before Mikel Arteta came into the club and the lack of real ambition shown. But since Mikel's come in, he's revolutionised the club, in my opinion, from bottom to top. I know we haven't won a major yet, and that will be the key to whether this, you know, management tenure for Mikel will be a success or not. But he's taken us a long way, from 8th in 2021, even if we put the FA Cup win aside, because a lot of people like to use that's Emery's team he won it with. What has he done with his own team? Fair. In 2021 we was 8th. In 2023 we were challenging City for the Premier League title, and now we're very much firmly in that debate this season. So a lot of similarities with what you said about Brentford trusting the first few months or weeks not going to plan, but now looking back and thinking to yourself, this is exactly why they trusted him or trusted them, and this is why this plan was stuck to at the time, even though some fans might have been unsettled. With Arsenal you could say the same, but with Arsenal, like I said, the major trophy will be the key to the success. Do you think, looking at Arsenal now, because over the last couple of years speaking to you, a lot of what you said about Arsenal, Mikel being patient, has come to light? You was very much correct on that. Do you think now is the time for Arsenal to go in and win a major, win a Premier League, win a Champions League? Or are you still saying be patient because you still see great things?
But no, I mean, the thing is, things will come. I mean, again, we sat over there before, and I was the one that said to you, because even you were impatient with Mikel before that season started. The first season, the one when they beat you, and I was jumping up and down in that seat. Right? I mean, I just have to point that one out. You know what I'm saying? Give me that one. Give me that one. But yeah. So, and Arsenal fans were like, no, Arteta's got to go, and I could not understand why they were feeling like that at the time. I was thinking, look, give him some time. So yes, okay, time has gone on. Now I know that you're feeling, I mean, last season was disappointing. I'm going to say this as well, and I'm not saying it because you're standing here in our stadium here, a wicked new stadium, which has got some vibes, some great atmosphere. But last season, Arsenal were the best. When you played us here and you beat us, you were the best team that we played.
Reece said the same thing. Reece Weston, I done pre-match pint with him. He said exactly the same thing.
They were the best team that we played, I'd say, until we went to play Brighton down at their place, and they were next level. Brighton last season were next, even though we got a draw with them in the end. I don't know how we got that draw, but before that, hands down, we played Man United. Remember, we smashed them in there last season. We played teams, we did really well. But Arsenal, we just put hands up. Fair enough, Quality. We got done. And we predicted at that stage that you were going to win the league. We thought you were going to win the league. Things didn't go according to plan, but those things happen, because I say that as well, that you learn from them. And you learn from them things. The players learn from it. You learn from the hardships. Almost like you get the pain. You know, players if they're so close to something, you know, you look at the Euros and them young players who missed out on winning the Euros, the England players, you know, Saka and them lot. You know what I'm saying? And people are going, oh no. They'll learn from that. I mean, okay, you know, we're hoping that we didn't win the World Cup either, but you know what I'm saying? Let's hope they'll learn from it at some stage.
The pain, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's the pain. So I'm thinking that the Arsenal players will learn from that, and they'll, you know, they're still relatively young, a lot of them. Yeah. So, but whether or not it's this year or next year or the year afterwards, that will actually stand them in really good stead. And then you've got other teams who will have players who will leave, or they're getting older and your players are getting younger. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to have a little check, but because I do the Observer newspaper, I do the kind of the little fan reviews that they do, right? You know, for every single team they do one. So I do one for the Brentford one about 3 or 4 times a season, and I believe, and I'm going to say, I should have done my research before I came on here, shouldn't I? I believe I actually put Arsenal to win the league this season, actually. I believe that I did.
And from what you've seen so far, stick by that?
And from what I've seen so far, I think that, yes, they do have a good chance of winning the league. Yeah. Tottenham's come a little bit out of the blue, but they bought a couple of players, you know, they went right with a couple of players, whereas they normally go wrong with a couple of players.
And manager too, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? And the manager as well is a very good manager there, but we're not talking about Tottenham now, we're talking about Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? So there's that as well. And Chelsea, I predicted would not do the business. Everyone thought because they spent, you know, £1 billion, they'll do all right, but maybe if they spend another $1 billion, they might be quite close. They might get 5th or 6th. You know what I'm saying? You know, but and Man City are Man City. Yeah. But the thing I'll say about it is that what is slightly different now is before the Premier League, you got boom, Man City and then a few other teams. But what you've got now, you've got teams that come in and they're the destroyers, the upsetters, as I call them. They come in, right, and they cause a few problems. Like last season, we caused a few problems. You know what I'm saying? So we'll come in and we're not going to challenge for top 4 or top 5 or top 6.
But we'll have a say.
But what we'll do is that we're going to mess up your season, you know, and we almost messed up Man City season. You know, the only team that beat them twice last season. You know what I'm saying? So if a few other people actually kind of done their job, then they would have been gone. You know what I'm saying? But those things happen again, and I think that's going to happen again this season. And I was looking as well, there's other teams that didn't do particularly well last season. Wolves are doing better than they did last season. Look at Aston Villa. Aston Villa are up there now. Whether or not they make a Champions League place or not, they might not, but they might be top 6 or 7 or 8, so they're going to cause problems. They're going to cause problems as well. And Brighton always in there. West Ham are doing better than they did last season as well. So they beat you in the cup. I know it's a cup, but still. So what I'm trying to say is that, and I was on the Anfield Wrap talking to the Liverpool guys, lovely guys as well, and I said to them, you know, you get really fixated about got to get a win here, but don't forget, don't rule any of us other teams out. Just distressing that table, and you're going to get a freaky result every now and again, which just throws things up in the air. So answering your question, I think Arsenal, listen, you're 1 point off City now, you're equal on points with Liverpool as well.
And they play each other on the weekend.
They do as well. When we played Liverpool, to be quite honest with you, it was one of them games.
I don't know how that was 3-0.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a 3-0 game, but Liverpool, tell you what it was though, bang, in front of the goal, bosh.
Ruthless.
There you go. Absolutely ruthless. And they were better than the previous times that we played them. So they got the result. So now Liverpool got their tails up, so they're back in the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you can't let your guard down, but then you're just waiting for Everton to beat them or Sheffield United to beat them or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's how it's going to go.
Before we move on to the game, one man we have to speak about, one man that hasn't played a Premier League game this season. And I don't want to talk about what's happened. I want to look forward now. And as part of looking forward, I want to ask you how you've managed to cope so well without your top scorer, without, you know, essentially your star man, Ivan Toney. Because I look at Brentford this season and you have had poor results, but essentially you look at where you are in the table, mid-table, and you've still got a great platform to have a great season by Brentford standards. How have you coped without Ivan Toney? I mean, the transfer window, did that do enough for you to say, you know, we're in a good position even without him?
Again, if you ask any Brentford fan, they're really, really happy with where we are at the moment now. Ivan Toney, I think the positive thing, the good thing about the Ivan Toney situation is we found out it was just over a year ago now. He went to Italy with England, and then we found that when he was in Italy, so he didn't get played. He didn't get played in the Germany game. I think it was the Germany game a few days after that as well. I mean, I went to that, we were gutted. And then he went, I think it was Germany, I can't remember, maybe I got it wrong. And then he didn't go to Qatar, which I was absolutely gutted about, because obviously I went out to Qatar and I thought, oh my God, I'm actually going to see a Brentford player pull on an England shirt, you know. So that didn't happen. But for Brentford, it gave them time to plan. right? Because they knew that this trial was going to come up at some stage, and it gave them time to plan. And we brought in Kevin Schade. There's a little video flying around saying that we're pronouncing his name wrong, but I can't remember the correct pronunciation, so I'm going to call him Schade still. In January. To be a little to be a player who potentially will replace Toney at some stage whenever he may leave, and also whether or not his band's going to go. We brought him in, but also the other thing is that we didn't go too mad because I think they felt within our ranks we would be able to handle the situation, and they'll see how it goes in the summer. So in the summer, we bought a few players, but we didn't go striking mad at all. You know, we kind of just dealt with what we had, and also I think the other thing is that. What happens is that sometimes you get a scenario where you may rely on a player a lot. Not saying he's a bad player, but you rely on him a lot. So when you play in a particular type of football, you play to his strengths. When you remove that player, it actually gives your other players the opportunity to rise up. So it's not a fear; it's almost it's a good situation. You know what I'm saying? So Brian and Bumo, he's just taken that opportunity. He's risen up. Wisa as well has taken that opportunity to rise up. The difficulty we've had is that we've had, and this is, listen, every club gets it. We've had so many injuries, so many key injuries. So. You know, Schade, who's come in, right, and he was looking like, he was looking fast. He's looking like he's good in the air. He's like he's causing problems. Oh no, he's out injured long term. You know, Keane Lewis Potter out injured long term. The biggest injury, because like I said to you, Ivan Toney, him being out the side, a lot of people weren't that because we knew that we could deal with that. And we dealt with it. But Rico Henry has been an absolute killer for us because the way that we play, him defensively on the break, getting up the pitch. That's how we play. And also when we're up the pitch and Rico's up the top there and then the team gets a fast break, Rico's rapid, but when he comes back and he's on the recovery. Aaron Hickey, I mean, great player, great defender, you know, plays for Scotland as well. Listen, he's going to play the Euros. Really great player. Bang. Injured as well, long-term injury. I think, you know, out for the season again. We've got so many injuries, and I know every team gets injuries. But sometimes what they do, they come in sort of these waves. So I think last season, we have seasons where we have no injuries also, and you do really well, so you ride the wave. And then sometimes you have lots of injuries. Now, if you've got lots of money, you've got a squad that you come in and you can replace them with, not light by light, but players who are quality. Bringing players off the bench who are 70 million, 80 million, we can't do that. We're bringing off players, you know, who cost us 500,000, you know, $1 million, 2 million. You know what I'm saying? And we're not knocking them because those are good players who've turned into good Premier League players. But there's a big difference. So we've had to change our style of football. So it's been very, very difficult. So Ivan Toney, we've managed to handle not having him. The other players, it has been difficult. And there's one stage we were saying that we're sort of kind of swimming with our head above the water to January to see kind of what we need to do to fill in them because we've got the AFCON coming. And Bumo's going to go, Wisa's going to go, so we're thinking what's going to happen there, you know. But one player we have got in, I've got to mention him because I love him. Neil Maupay. People are laughing.
When he's a player that if he plays for your club, he does things that will make you love him. I'll tell you. Brighton fans also, you know, they have a connection with him because of the dirty side of his game.
Neil Maupay. We made Maupay, as you know, in the Championship. We made him top scorer. We loved him. I could tell you all the stories of the things that he used to do against Leeds United. He used to wind them up. You know what I'm saying? When he scored, he absolutely loves them. You know, I could tell you a little story about when I chatted to him in a hotel there, and all the things that I said to him. Listen, you need to do that against Leeds, and he went and did them. He actually did them all as well, which is very, very funny because it really upset me. You know, but it was honestly, it was wicked. He loves football. He loves Brentford. He loves the club, and we were really upset when he left. But we knew he had to go because we didn't go up from the Championship to the Premier League, and he got a Premier League offer, so he left. He went to Brighton. He did all right there, you know. He went to Everton. Terrible move for him. He's come back here. You watch him when he plays on Saturday. You watch his face. You watch how enthusiastic he is, because what's happened is that Thomas Frank, again, as a manager, a wicked manager, he's put his arm around him and said, Neil, you're back home now, and we're going to take care of you. We love you. The fans here love you. We're going to make you enjoy your football again. And you watch him. He's smiling, enjoying his football. And you see, if he scores, and I fingers crossed that he will do, you watch his celebration because he absolutely loves it. And we love players like that. That he is just Brentford through and through. He bleeds red and white.
Well, we hope he doesn't score. And I know one AFTV representative that wouldn't want to see him scoring tie. Hopefully he doesn't, but obviously Billy's a Brentford fan, so what can we do? Let's wrap up on Toney. I mean, a lot of rumours that January could be a month that he goes. I don't see it per se with the 100 million price tag on his head, and I think that he does owe Brentford something off the back of this ban, and I think he'll probably see out the season. But you're more in the camp or more in the know with Brentford. I mean, do you see a January move likely, or is it going to be at the end of the season?
Listen, Ivan Toney is hot property, right? Yeah. He scores goals. Yes, he's been banned, and that affects things to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, if he comes out of his ban and he scores a goal together, that makes no difference whatsoever. The question is to whether or not anybody is going to meet our valuation. Mm-hmm. As far as Brentford are concerned, we don't have to sell him. Right, we don't have to sell him at the moment.
Financially stable.
At the moment, we don't have to sell him at all. And we have a scenario, like I said to you, we've got AFCON coming, we've got a couple of players missing. We've got to stabilise ourselves, but we're also doing okay. Yeah. What I'm saying? So we don't want to fall off a cliff, but at the end of the day, is that we kind of have a situation where Ivan Toney does owe us something. Yeah. Right. What that means within footballing terms, you don't know. He's got a new agent, CAA, and CAA are known for getting their players in and then moving them to another club. We know that. We know all that. And also, like I said to you, as Brentford fans, we're very used to our players going. So we're not sitting there crying and thinking, oh my God, he's going to go, we're going to fall off a cliff. We're kind of cool with it. Yeah. However, do I think he's going to stay in this window? Yes, I do. Unless somebody comes in with a wheelbarrow cash. Yeah. Somebody came in with 100 million straight away. I think that there'll be some people from this club that literally throw him in the car and they'll drive him to wherever he's going to be going.
It'll be Stamford Bridge if it's 100 million in January, but yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, and that's one of those things that we cannot control. And if that does happen, they'll have plans in place to what to do with that money, as we know. So yes, we'll see. But to be honest with you, I hope that he does stay. I really do hope that he does stay, because I would love him to play for England again. Go to the Euros so that I can go to Germany and say I've actually seen a Brentford player in an England shirt winning the Euros for England. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek actually. But I was saying that. So
Turkey might have something to say about that, Billy. We're in there as well, mate. So
that's right. You know what I'm saying? So good competition, as they say. Yeah. One other player I want to talk about though, David Raya.
We was going to move on to him anyway. Go on, talk away.
I have to talk about David Raya because
before you talk about him, who do you think is the better keeper, Raya or Ramsdale?
Raya. Okay. We had huge conversations on the Besotted podcast, Pride of West London, by the way.
Nice, you know what I'm saying? In the description,
that's people. Right. Yeah, that's right. We had huge conversations with him in the run-up. We had lots of different people as well. And quickly as well, Arsenal. There's talks about Arsenal and Ivan Toney. I know I'm just flipped off it as well. We didn't even talk about that. There's talks about whether or not that's going to happen as well. Whether or not they'll pay they pay the money. We didn't think that. I think I even said it here that at the time when we knew Ollie Watkins was going to go, actually no, it's beforehand, he should have gone to Arsenal.
You did say it.
Yeah.
You did say it.
Should have gone to Arsenal.
I remember.
Should have gone to Arsenal, 100%. And we would have been happy for him to go to Arsenal, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He went to Villa in the end, but it's a different scenario. So coming back to the Ramsdale thing, we know David Raya like it. We know him inside out as a goalkeeper, okay? When he first came to Brentford, he came from Blackburn. He came in with a good reputation. I think it cost about £3 million. We heard about him. We thought, he's quite a good keeper. I remember him coming in and he made his debut on that side, and he came in and he dropped the ball and he did all these things, and everyone's thinking, oh, blimey, I heard he's meant to be a good keeper. Yeah. And he was a bit ropey, it has to be said, but he did some good things, but he had a mistake in him, right? And we were like, I ain't sure about this guy. But surely, as months went on, he got better and better and better. But the thing about his game is his passing game, right? Yeah. And his sweeper keeper, and he's basically he's like another midfielder, right? And we knew that Raya was going to go to Arsenal. Yeah. That loan deal, it's not a loan. I mean, I know everyone's talking about it. I've said this, it's not a loan deal.
FFP is restricted Arsenal.
It's not a loan deal. We've sorted, and hopefully Arsenal will sort us a favour in return. You've got a couple of players, and quite nice players. Maybe you can send down our way.
About Toney at the end of the season. We've got some business to do.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? So that would be really nice. So David Raya's gone. We knew he's gone. But it was interesting because there's an article that Ramsdale did in one of the Players magazines. Yeah. I sent it to a few of my Arsenal fans and said, read this. And Ramsdale's saying, Arteta's going to him, get up further. And he was like, and then I said, no, get further up. No, get further. And he's going, cool, blimey, I'm on the halfway line there, you know what I'm saying? And basically it was very uncomfortable for him to play that way. And obviously Arteta's trying to play with almost like an offensive goalkeeper. And Ramsdale is not as good with his feet as other goalkeepers are, so he can feel uncomfortable. So that's why he's put Raya in. And again, he's like, I've got a plan. I'm sticking with the plan, right? He put him in, and a lot of people say, let's see how it goes between them two. Boom, he's put him straight in as the number one. Right? We said he's going to go straight in as number one because we knew it. Because why are you going to buy David Raya if you're going to have him sitting on the bench? It makes no sense whatsoever. Right? You know what I'm saying? So who's the better people? I think, Ramsdale's, he's great. But also don't forget, you put in a bid for Raya. You tried to buy him a couple of years ago.
Before Ramsdale.
10 mil, right? And it didn't happen. So they thought, leave that. And they got Ramsdale. But I think he's seen him and he's just, no. That's the guy that I want, and he's the Spanish thing and blah, and this, that, and the other, and then he got into the Spain team, and honestly, and you watch, he's a wicked keeper. He's a great keeper. There's only one, I say, not that he's got flaws, but the one thing that will kind of not upset you a little bit, penalties. He doesn't save many penalties because he's small.
No, there's Ramsdale. I mean, I don't think we've had a keeper that saves penalties since God knows when.
No, he's small. But what I'll say to you again, we're a statty-based team.
Yeah.
Think about how many penalties you get, right? And then penalties, right, are nearly 90% of penalties are scored. So 1 in 10 are scored, so 1 is saved.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you get 10 penalties, on average, the keeper will save 1 of them, right? So if David Raya's in goal and you get 10, are you going to get 10 penalties a season? You know what I'm saying? Or you
against us, yeah.
Yeah, are you going to get 10 penalties against you a season? Yeah, so he might save. So if he saves 1, that's on average. If he's worse than that, he'll save half. So he'll have to have more. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but on the flip side of it, the amount of goals that he may set up with his play, right? His play may amount to 6 or 8 goals, or 10 goals. So him not saving 1 penalty a season, which he should have done, as opposed to the 8 goals he set up, what would you go for?
That's the fine margins when you're dealing with City as well, because I have looked at Ramsdale and was happily surprised by Ramsdale over the last couple of years. He's a strong part of bringing us into the Champions League. But when we were linked with Raya, I said to myself, Arteta wants this man to be number one. And shortly after the first international break, he's in, and Arteta hasn't looked back since. He's had nervy moments, I think, similar to what you said about his arrival here, but he's also made great against Burnley at 0-0, our last Premier League game. He made a great save, and he kept that at 0-0 against Tottenham. He made a save, and he was also involved in the goal we conceded. So
the thing, I'll tell you something, it will make you really nervous. Have you seen the little moves that he does? Have you seen when he nutmegs a striker, and we all go?
We haven't seen a nutmeg yet, but we have had a couple of those, gasping for air moments.
No, but he knows what he's doing. He does a little move, like that, and the next minute the striker's on the floor and he's off, and that's when he's confident in his own skin.
And that builds his confidence even more. All right, we've discussed Raya, we've discussed Toney, we've discussed a little bit about Brentford and Arsenal. Let's go into the game now. I mean, the last couple of games Arsenal have had here, Carabao Cup, we got the win last year. You mentioned that we was one of the best teams to come. It was a 3-0 win off the top of my head. But it tends to always be a difficult game. And what do you before we go into predictions, how do you see the game unfolding on Saturday, and who is the key threat for you? Because Jesus played 90 minutes for Brazil, Trossard had a great game against Burnley, Saka and Martinelli are always threats. Then you have Declan Rice, who's come in and been a monster for us in the middle. Odegaard seems like he's fit and ready again. Who would be the one player you pick out this Saturday to keep quiet?
So I'm saying, you're reading all these names off, and I'm just like, it's like, which one do I choose? Because you've got a wealth of players, mate. You've got some wicked players there. Declan Rice has been, he was good at West Ham. We know he's been good for England. He's been a revelation. And I think Arsenal and the scenario, I don't know what it is, has brought something out in him as well, and you could see he's kind of matured as a player, even in this very relatively short space of time that you've bought him as well. And him in midfield is, you've got to, it's going to be a task, because if he's able to control that area, with his team, then it's going to be a problem for us. But then, with us, with Norgard and with Jensen and the people inside there as well, again, we do a really great job. They do a fantastic job when they're on their game of controlling the midfield. And for me, it's interesting. The team that we talked about, we had a few stinky results down here. One of the teams that beat us down here was Everton, right? Couldn't buy a win, right? Couldn't buy a result all season. Come down here, we figure, here we go, bang, 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 right? I met Sean Dyche a couple of weeks afterwards in Nottingham. He lives in Nottingham, but beneath a pub, actually quite a nice pub. And I chatted to him and I said, mate, you did us last week. And he goes, that's because we were good and you were, like that. But I started to chat to him and I said to him, do you know how many times you've beaten us? And he went, yeah, as Sean Dyche, how many times have you played us? He goes, I said, you played us 7 times. He said, do you know how many times you've beaten us? He said, no, I don't. I said, you've beaten us 6 times, Sean Dyche, and we've only won once. And I said, because you know how to do Brentford, either as Burnley or as Everton. You know what I'm saying?
Styles make fights, they say.
I'm telling you. So we kind of struggled against him. However, and the reason why I've mentioned him, I'm not going on a tangent, is that I think Thomas Frank almost like prefers to play against an Arteta type side than a Sean Dyche side. You know what I'm saying? Right? Much prefers that. What they'll do is he'll play our style of football. We'll sit back, and they love to defend, so they'll sit back, even though we've got a few problems with defenders as well. We've got a few injuries there as well, but we'll deal with that. You know, and they'll sit back, and then boom, we'll try and hit you on the break. So it's going to be quite interesting, because also you're very good at the break as well. I mean, you're very good at loads of things, but it's one of the things. So between the two of us, they do that. But I think he's going to be quite more comfortable playing against you lot than he's going to be playing against Sean Dyche. So how's this game going to pan out? Again, midfield's going to be massive. Whether or not our defence is going to be able to cope, you know, Ben Mee's going to be coming in. He's been out for ages. We love him. You're going to hear all the chants. You know what I'm saying, as well. Because we also had Nathan Collins got injured over for Ireland a few days ago, so he's out. So all of a sudden, is that the back three that we'll play is probably may not be out the window, or maybe we might bring Zanka in. I don't quite know what's going to happen there. Again, we're plucking another player off the bench as well, which is, he's reliable, but he's still not necessarily the same as other players. So it's going to be quite difficult as to what we do there. Aya probably be pushed out on the right. We'll have Roslev, who's playing on the left, who's not normally a left back. Things are all a little bit all over the place with us. However, we're a team, so we just get on with it and we deal with it. And as fans, like I said to you, we just stand up here and we just make loads of noise for 90 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of what we do, and just enjoy ourselves. So listen, if you come down here and you do the business, in principle, you should do us on Saturday.
We should, yeah.
But we're going to make it difficult for you, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. And like I said to you, any Arsenal fan, you can come down there, you can go to any pub around here, you can wear your colours, there's no bouncers on the door, none of that foolishness, you know what I'm saying? You can go anywhere in Kew and Brentford as well. There's loads of good pubs in Brentford as well.
Good vibes.
Including our pub, The Globe, as well, which you can come down to. Nice. And you can come down there and you can enjoy yourselves, have a good drink, come to the match here, make some noise, and then go out and do the same thing again. So that's kind of where we're at. And I'm not playing the game down at all, and I'm not playing us down, I'm not playing Arsenal down, but you're a very, very good side this season, and I can't see you out of the top 3, and I could see you challenging for first place. So all we're going to be doing is trying to stop you from doing that, and maybe we might get a surprise.
Let's wrap it up with predictions, and you're the home team, so I'm going to go to you first, Billy, for a prediction this Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. What's it going to be come 7:30?
This is quite hard. Tell you what, this is hard. We haven't done our podcast as yet. I'm going to do it this evening. Pride of West London, as we say. So we haven't done it as yet. So I haven't had time to think about it. So you've put me on the spot. I always go a little bit kind of not left field, but I'm always go glass half full the whole time. And I'm tell you what, I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 Brentford win.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Brentford win. You know what I'm saying? This is not being disrespectful to Arsenal and on this channel or anything like that, but we're on a bit of a roll at the moment now. We've had a couple of wins, we're feeling fresh, we're feeling nice. We've got our backs up because we've got a few injuries, but I think a lot of the players want to go out there and prove themselves, and Neil Maupay really wants to prove himself as well, big time. So I'm just saying, listen, we've got nothing to lose. We go out there, put our shoulders down and go out there and have some fun
and enjoy yourselves. I'm going for 2-1 Arsenal win.
That's fair enough.
Like we said earlier, I think Arsenal should get the job done, but it's never an easy team to play against. It's not just difficult against Brentford here. Brentford make it difficult away from home too. So I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. So we're both going 2-1. Let us know in the comment section what your predictions are. Before we do finally wrap it up, have you hit the like button? Are we on 1,000 likes yet? Make sure it happens. Billy, let them know where they can find you.
Listen, you can find us on Besotted, BEESOTTED. So Besotted on Twitter, on wherever else you find us as well. But also the podcast is on Pride of West London, because we are the Pride of West London. You know what I'm saying? Not Fulham, not Chelsea, not QPR. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Brentford. So that's why. So Pride of West London as well. Also, you can get us on besotted.com. We've got a blog there as well, besotted.com. We've been going since 1990, so we've been around for a while. Yeah. The computer hasn't, obviously, because people didn't even know what a computer was in 1990. I don't think. You know what I'm saying?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. But we used to sell our magazine on the corners from 1990, 91. So old school. You know what I'm saying?
You go way back.
Which is
nice. There you go, people. Pride of West London, Besotted. I'm going to put it in the description. I'm going to tag it in the title as well. Make sure you show Billy some love. Like I said, the box to box goal. or one of the box to box goals? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure you go look at Billy's content. He said he's got some content around Arsenal, around David Raya, Ivan Toney, so you know, a lot of interest there from Arsenal fans. So go over, check him out. And Billy, pleasure as always, man.
Listen, thanks for inviting us again. Listen,
No
you know, this is all good. Enjoy the game, enjoy yourselves on Saturday. Hope you don't enjoy yourselves too much. But then after that, good luck for the rest of the season.
You too, good luck for the rest of the season. Hit the like button, show some love to Billy and his channels and his podcast, and get us to 1,000 likes, people. Love for the love, we're at.